Afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Trafford Talk. We're back with more Euro stuff. Obviously, Euros is just around the corner, only 6 days till it starts. I'm joined by Robbie. Today, we're going to be doing Group D, which is, I think, the most exciting group. Bitz and Bobz is going to be joining us in a bit as well, which I'm looking forward to. I'm outnumbered today by Scotland fans. But obviously, this group is well, for obvious reasons, for us, it's the most exciting one, isn't it? Because you've got Croatia, Czech Republic, and then Scotland and England, which is it's a Trafford Talk war.
I can't wait. I can't wait for it. If there's any Scotland fans in the chat, let us know. If there's any English fans in the chat, let us know. And, I mean, people from, outside of Europe, outside of Europe who don't support, obviously their country's not in it. So who are you supporting, guys? Let us know in the comments. We want to know. And obviously we're going to go through, the predictions that Scotland are going to win the Euros. Also go through the fantasy picks. I'll be bringing up my team on the screen very shortly, going through, all the teams in depth detail. Alexei, I'm still waiting to see your team. How's it coming along?
I am it's in progress now. Trust me, these things take me so long because with the Premier League ones, it's easier because I just know all the players. But this one, I have to do a bit more in depth. But obviously, these podcasts help in that. We're gonna jump straight in though. So we're gonna start off with Czech Republic. Currently 40th in the world rankings. Obviously, as Czechoslovakia. They won it in 1976. And they were runners up in 1996 with Czech Republic. So they have history in this tournament. They have more history than England and Scotland do in this tournament. So we can't be too dismissive of them. Obviously, I think most of us kind of remember Czech Republic teams as like Rosicky. He was mint money, and like Nedved and Czech. They always used to be incredible on the international stage. Obviously. So with Czech Republic, I think you'll agree, Robbie. I mean, the three I look at in their team is the obvious ones is Souček, Koufal, and Patrick Schick. They're kind of the three key players for Czech Republic. I mean, what do you think about Czech Republic? Obviously, they're in our group. Are you worried about facing them? And obviously, in relation to the fantasy, is there any players you'd pick out for your fantasy team as well?
Yeah, so I'll pull up the fantasy, share a link in a second. I'll show you guys possibly who to pick, what route to go down. But I mean, I watched a part of the game last night, Italy versus Czech Republic. It was a friendly. Souček was not playing, so you need to take that with a pinch of salt. But they lost 4-0. They lost 4-0. Italy kept another clean sheet, and also I'm sure Patrick Schick wasn't playing either. So it was like half a team. However, 4-0 still quite a large margin, for a team in the Euros to lose in one of their warm-up games. So, you obviously can't take absolutely everything from that, but it's quite an interesting result. You get just the worst team, and they'll be up against England as well, who are possibly better than Italy. So, it kind of goes to show what we're up against. And I think Czech Republic will be struggling in this group because, Scotland v England, really, it was down to passion. It'll feel like a one-off game.
It's like a derby.
I know we're saying this. I genuinely do think anything could happen because we've seen it before. It's just one of those games. It's one of those ties where derbies, rivalries, it goes out the window. Everything, history, the draw, your actual team, it just goes out the window. And there'll obviously be fans in Wembley. I'll be heading down to Wembley. Me and my friends are going to Hyde Park. My kilt just came today. We're looking forward to it. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's an occasion, and I just think Czech Republic will fall short of that. I'm not saying they don't understand what it means, but I just don't think they've got the strength and depth like the other teams in the group. And I'm quickly just going to share and show you guys, what I'm actually looking at the moment. So basically, we're looking at Czech Republic just now. Alexei, you seen this on the screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is my team, right? Just to know this, we'll go through this. This is a very early draft. I'm looking to, kind of brush it up as the time goes on. And whenever you go and look at Czech Republic, though, I mean, who stands out to you, Alexei?
I mean, it's an obvious one, but I'd probably go for Souček because he's a goal scoring holding midfielder and he's 6.5 million. I think that's a pretty reasonable price. I think he just seems like the obvious one to go for. He could really flourish in this team. He could be the star player in this team because he scored a fair amount of goals for West Ham last year. And yeah, like 6.5 million seems pretty cheap, doesn't it, really, for someone of his quality?
You know what, Alexei? It's not even as if he's, as you said, like he's an attacking style midfielder, and it's 6.5 million. I'm actually struggling to, keep him out of the team, but I'm not putting him in because he's up against Scotland. I feel as if that is...
You don't want to jinx it.
Suicide, mate, doing that. But yeah, we'll move on to... I mean, I like this guy. Vladimir Kufal. I think he's an absolute bargain. He's 5 million. And, he's selected by 9% of people. So he'll probably be on a lot of benches. But he could get involved against Scotland. I mean, I hope he doesn't. But elsewhere, mate, I can't. No one really stands out to me. I'd be check 8 million. I feel as if you can get guys who are, fit the system better. And then you go further down. Honestly, I don't think there's that much else that I would look at.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can definitely move on.
Yes, obviously. I think our recommendations for Czech Republic would probably be Kufal and Souček. I mean, personally, I'd go for Souček just because I think there's a big chance he's going to score a header from a corner or something. But yeah, I mean, so that's Czech Republic. Obviously, they're probably the team that is going to have to overcome the most adversity to get through in this group because, I mean, the next team was a World Cup finalist in 2018 and I don't like this team very much for obvious reasons because they broke my heart. But we are talking about Croatia now. They're 14th in the world rankings. Their best ever Euros finish was quarterfinals at 96 in 2008. But it feels like they're always pretty good, Croatia. And obviously, even though they still have your Modric's, your Mandzukic's, your Perisic's, they have really exciting players, kind of younger players, Kovacic, Brozovic, Kaletakar, like they've got some really good quality. I mean, their midfield of Kovacic, Brozovic, and Modric is kind of outrageous in quality. And I mean, I think everyone's kind of forgetting a bit about Croatia because obviously everyone's focusing on the England-Scotland thing. But like, I just don't. After what happened against England last time and the heartbreak, I just really don't want to play Croatia again. I mean, what are your thoughts on Croatia, Robbie?
See Croatia, they're one of those teams that you can't ever write out. Obviously, they're an ancient team, but it's one of those things where you can't ever write them off. Obviously, Rakitic is retired now. He's getting on well with Sevilla. Is it Sevilla? No, that's who Rakitic is with. Yeah, but anyway, there's a lot going on there in the midfield. They've got Kovacic, Modric. They've got a good midfield, and I can see them going through. So it's one of those teams where I'm scared of playing. I'm going to be honest, and I think England have got a very hard game on the first day. And we're going to invite Bitz and Bobz in, which is quite a questionable name. Obviously, we're not talking about United today. We're talking about the Euros. We're talking about Group D. Bitz and Bobz, you just missed us talking about Czech Republic, and now we're on to Croatia. What's your views on Croatia? Because obviously England have got them on the first day of the Euros. I think they do have good players, but I don't think they'll challenge, as well as they did, a few years back. Bobby, can you hear you, mate? I don't know what's going on. Anyway, no, we can't hear you, mate. Anyway, you know what we'll do just now, Alexei? We'll share the screen and have a quick look at the fantasy picks, possibly that we could look at for Croatia. So I'll quickly look that up just now. I think there is good picks that we can go with for Croatia, and you know that there's certain ones here we're looking at, and it's like, oh wait, sorry, I need to take out Czech Republic as well. Right, okay, there we go. So Alexei, who stands out to you here in this list? Because for me personally, if I had to go with, you know, a player in this list, it would probably be either Borna Barisic, who plays with Rangers. He's on the free kicks, takes a lot of set pieces, corners, things like that, and Orsic as well. You know, I mean, we know him from against Spurs.
I think he's, you know, you mentioned yesterday a couple of players that you were kind of really keen to watch. I mean, Orsic for me is someone that, I mean, he's going in my team, I think. Straight in. He's a really, really exciting player. I mean, obviously, we all saw against Spurs that, I mean, he was outrageous. He was out of this world. He looked like an elite level player in that game, didn't he? He was so brilliant. And, you know, it's good for him because he's coming into a team, obviously, as a forward, where he's got so much around him creatively. You know, he's got Luka Modric feeding balls through to him, and he could really, really thrive. And obviously, that's 6.5 million. I mean, that's a bargain.
And look how many people have selected him. Only 1% of you know, the fantasy world have actually selected Mislav Orsic. Like, you know, I think he's getting looked upon, and he's not getting the respect he deserves. Elsewhere, Alexei, if you get any other players here that, you know, could possibly break onto the scene, not possibly, or
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Probably can. Don't know if you're obviously in with the fantasy world, mate, but you know, we're obviously looking at Croatia at the moment. We're talking about Orsic. He looks, you know, a great player. Obviously, had a great game against Spurs in the Europa League. Basically, put them out single-handedly. Amazing player. You know, probably the only other one for me would be Vlasic. He plays for CSKA Moscow. I'm quite scared of Croatia. I'm not going to lie, being a Scotland fan, and it's one of those things where I wish they were not in my group. I wish I could just bypass them and play Czech Republic every day of the week. And England, I suppose, are not great either. But I mean, Alexei, we could probably talk about, you know, the big teams that we're here for. The three of us are actually here for.
So, okay. Right, I'll come to you first, Bits and Bobs. Firstly, start off, how are you feeling about Scotland's chances going in? Obviously, kick-offs in about, a week's or so time. How are you feeling? Do you think you'll get out of the group? Do you think you'll beat England?
I think, do you know what? I think this season has showed that football isn't so straightforward. So to answer that question, I'm optimistic. You know, if they don't get out, you can accept that Croatia and England are better. However, when I look at this England team, they only really have an attack if you break it down. You know, their defence is rubbish. I don't want to swear on this, Robbie. The defence is rubbish if you think about it. You know, midfield, I actually fancy him again against Declan Rice, to be honest. I actually fancy him. And going forward, I mean, we've not got really much to boast about, but I just think England will be defensive anyway. I mean, they're taking 3 right backs, blah, 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 and Southgate's a defensive manager. I'm quite optimistic, mate. I think Scotland could get out. Probably coming second. I don't think Croatia, we shouldn't sleep on Croatia, but I'm optimistic about Scotland, to be honest.
I mean, I think it's a really interesting point there because, to be honest, I think a midfield of McTominay and Ginn is probably better than Rice and whatever on earth we're going to play alongside Rice. I mean, do you see the midfield as kind of somewhere that
See, the
Scotland
thing
can
is,
thrive?
though, Bobby, did you watch the game against the Netherlands during the week? And it was like, what I seen, Stuart Armstrong was just amazing. Like, he was literally one of the best players in the park. Him and David Turnbull of Celtic. As I said that to you, Alexei, I think David Turnbull will be one for the future. I think we need to really watch out for him in the tournament because I think he'll play a role. So we do have players. I don't think Billy Gilmore, for example, will get minutes. But you know,
Sure.
I'm excited to see what we do, how we start, how the midfield play together. Because obviously Ryan Jack probably, no, definitely our best defensive player in the midfield is obviously injured. Played a massive role away to Serbia to actually take us to the Euros. But you know, we've got good backup, and I agree with Bobby. I am optimistic. I think you need that. You know, see if you're not optimistic, then what's the point? You'd be better just staying at home and not playing the games, just letting our teams walk over you because you know I've done that for years since I can remember, and I just want to be in it from the first whistle at the very end.
Exactly. And you know, just to add to that, right? I'm just going to be honest with you here, right? You know, there is a rivalry, obviously, between Scotland and England, and we don't like losing to England. I say we, but look, I mean, I grew up in London. I was born in London, um, so a bit of both. But obviously, I lean a lot more towards Scotland. But you know, when you watch these games, I'm 31 now, so you know, I remember the Gascoigne game when he flicked it over Hendry. I remember Don Hutchison at Wembley. I remember what's his name, Sparky. Lee Griffiths, free kick and stuff, and you know, it's just a one-off game, and this season has showed me that football in 90 minutes, no fans or whatever lot of fans, it's literally you against them, and if you want it, and you know, I just think that England physically, I don't think England will be about it. Um, and I hope Scotland score first because that will just literally rattle their players because they won't expect it. Then it means they'll need to come out, and then they're unexpected. You know, fair game. Just if we can get that one, because I think Scotland are good enough to beat them 1-0. That's it. And I'm not even saying England needs to have a bad day or anything. I generally think Scotland can beat them 1-0. Get the goal, sit back. This is Steve Clarke. We need to remember, Steve Clarke is a very, very good coach and manager. Coach first of all. So yeah, man. I don't want to talk too much about on them, but yeah, that's my thoughts on
The thing
your question,
is
Alexei.
though, where are your goals coming from?
Nisbet, McGinn, set pieces. We've got big boys coming up from the back. With Scotland, it's not like England where you can identify Harry Kane will get goals, but in Scotland, we are a team that, you know, someone will chip in. It's not guaranteed, but someone will chip in. And you need to remember, like, these Scottish players don't want to lose to England, you know. So they'll give an extra 10, 15, 20% or whatnot. McGinn from 25 yards, we know what he can do. Armstrong, we know what he can do, you know. Some of these players have got Premier League experience.
And Bobby as well. One player that you've not mentioned who I absolutely love now is Che Adams. He has been.
Actually, yeah, so we saw what he done in Man United in half the Premier League. So, you know,
Che Adams has been great, but personally for me, I think we'll go with Che Adams and Lyndon Dykes up front because, you know, you look at Lyndon Dykes and you're like, you play for QPR, you know, should you be starting over, you know, let's say Ryan Fraser possibly up front alongside Che Adams? I would say Lyndon Dykes because Lyndon Dykes up against Maguire won't play. See if Maguire plays, he'll come off injured probably. So you're talking about John Stones, he's not a leader. He'll get bullied against Lyndon Dykes, he's that type of guy. He's not technically gifted, he'll just bully him. And then you look elsewhere and it's like Tyrone Mings. I mean, I don't know.
I think Mings, though, I mean, I don't rate Mings at all. I'm not going to sit here and defend him, but I think he is quite a combative player, and I think he's a player that would relish on a kind of battle with that kind of striker. So I think, you know, we've seen Mings go up against Ibrahimovic and kind of get really into it. You know,
Yeah, but do you not think, Alexei? But do you not listen? Do you not think that international football is played at a different pace? You know, this is not the Premier League where it's fast. You know, we're talking about players that are going to dictate the game of play, and it's concentration levels. You know, this is not Premier League where the international. This is why certain players don't play internationally, because the concentration levels, the thinking, the positioning, and the awareness, and like England. No disrespect to Tyrone Mings, but Tyrone Mings for England.
I know.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Listen, Harry Maguire's not going to play. I don't care what anyone says. He's not playing. He's not even running or even jogging. He's got no chance. We all know football. We know our bodies. 7 days, you're not even in 7 days right now.
I hope he does play.
Jogging. Huh?
I hope he does play, Bobby. I hope he does play, and probably come off injured. I mean, I do not want Harry Maguire to get injured for next season. That is the worst thing Southgate can do. He's got blood on his hands if he plays Harry Maguire in the group stages.
Yeah.
If he does that, and if he plays, Connor Cody or Tyrone Mings.
Look what we're saying. Connor Cody, Tyrone Mings, England centre-back.
No.
Why are we not optimistic? Come on,
I mean, a possibility, though, to deal with this. I mean, I'm literally looking at the squad now at the centre-backs, and it is appalling, I've got to be honest. But I think what he might do maybe is change. Yeah, because then you can have Walker maybe as a right centre-back.
Back against Scotland.
Huh?
Alexei, back 5 against Scotland.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he will do that, but the thing is,
Alexei, be honest, mate. Let's be honest. If you look, sorry to cut you off, man. Apologies. If you look at the squad he's picked, right? If you think about it, some of the defenders there, you have to admit, why are you going? Let's be honest. Unless they're going to play a back three, okay? Yeah, this is what I honestly think they'll play. Kyle Walker, right centre back, with Trippier, right wing back. They'll probably play Stones or someone, Luke Shaw. Then they'll play Chilwell. You've got 5 defenders.
I would love that. I would love that, Sam.
Like, what have you picked them for? Do you know what I mean? What have you picked them for if you're not going to play them?
I mean, I think that might be our best port of call. I mean, against someone like Croatia, I think the thing is, if you do have that kind of system, I think Walker and Shaw are very good on the ball. So you could have Shaw kind of bringing the ball out and coming forward. And, but then like Robbie said, against Scotland, it's difficult to justify playing 5 at the back or 3 at the back. But the problem is Southgate is very prone for being quite a conservative manager. But I mean, my view on like England Scotland is it's a kind of game where, no offense, but we should be beating you. We should easily be beating you.
I think that's what also
because of your manager, Alexei.
That's it. Yeah, exactly it. It kind of gives me like Sven-Göran Eriksson vibes. I mean, I think Southgate's done a better job.
I agree with you. Like, it sounds bad saying this. Like the home nations, like I don't despise. I don't think like I want you to lose. Like, Southgate, I hate you. I think Southgate will kill England in this Euros, and I think he'll get sacked straight away after it. He's not good enough, and yet he's not picked the right players. And it's so true. It's so true. Thanks for getting involved, obviously. And it's like Mings against Benzema, Mbappe, players like that. He's just not get the.
Oh gosh. I mean, I really like Ben Godfrey from Everton. Maybe he wasn't ready yet, but I really rate him as quite a.
I'd have picked him. I'd have picked him over Mings and Cody. I'd have picked Mings and Cody as well.
Can I don't want to be like disrespectful because I know I've got to support these players and they're part of my. But I just think Connor Cody isn't a good centre back. Like I've never really rated him that highly. Like I think he's okay at kind of a mid-table Premier League team, but like you guys have been saying, we're talking about international football here, and the thought of Connor Cody, if we get further in the tournament, like Robbie said, against like a Benzema, or I mean, we could play Ronaldo. I mean, it's really disturbing, isn't it? Like
it is, and I think that's why social media had a massive uproar with the people we picked. When you think about centre backs for England, don't know about you guys, but Tomori screams at me. What he's done in Italy,
Yeah.
They want to buy him now. Other centre backs, Godfrey. If I'm honest, how many times have we said he had a great game? I just think he's a Southgate is a defender, isn't he? Let's be honest, and he plays very cautious football. And you said yourself, Alexei, he's very conservative. He's very, stuck in his ways, and
Connor Goldson as
that's
well.
why. Yeah. That's why I think. I said to my group chat, all right, England won't get out of the group, and they all laughed at me. I was like, will you? If England doesn't get out of the group and you reflect on the body picks, would you be shocked?
I think they'll get out. I think England will get out of the group. But I don't think we'll still go.
I think
Scotland beat them 1-0 or Scotland draw, right? Say that. Scotland beat them 1-0, Scotland draw. Okay, in fact, let me rephrase it. If England draw and win, and Croatia win 2 games, okay, and then Scotland win, it goes down to goals. I'm like, seriously, it's just, and they're like, I suppose what you see. Look, on paper, England should beat everyone, but football's not played on paper, and the team he's picked. I mean, guys, Connor Cody, Tyrone Ming, come on, Che Adams will get changed out of them.
The one thing about, they've not really mentioned this. I mean, I think it should probably be Ward-Prowse or Lingard, to be honest. I think
why is Ward-Prowse not going, Alexei?
Exactly.
He can play in every position.
Do you know
I think
Ward-Prowse is
like
well
the best set piece maker. He's like Beckham-esque at the moment, like the way he can actually whip the ball.
The team's just so. It's just so inconsistent in terms of the fact we've got about 50 million inside forwards and then about 3 actual midfielders. And Henderson, for example, has been injured for ages. And then it just leaves It leaves Rice and Phillips. And Phillips has been injured as well. And you're kind of just looking at it and you're thinking, God, it's really scary. I mean, what I think will get us through games,
fitness. Sorry, but I know, Alexei, but surely, like, what I know, and the mistake that Sven-Göran Eriksson made, which, I've watched a lot of videos about him and what actually went wrong. He tried to compensate. He had an amazing team in front of him. He had great players. He had a great basis of players, but he tried to fit them all into one team. They were playing out of position to compensate for them all being so good, and he couldn't fit them all in the one team, and it backfired.
I mean, what I will say about Southgate,
everything. And I hope Southgate doesn't waste his career away by doing that, because I think, he's heading that way at the moment.
I think the thing is, though, with Southgate, obviously, I'm critical of some of the decisions he makes. I think his in-game management can be quite poor. I think just the players he picks in general is quite ridiculous. But what I will say about Southgate is, in international tournaments, we mentioned this, Robbie, yesterday when we talked about teams like North Macedonia. I know it sounds crazy talking about them with England, but in international tournaments, a really, really big thing is kind of like unity and team spirit and all of this. And we'd not seen that in my lifetime, I'd never seen anything like the 2018 World Cup. Not even just in the sense that we got to the semi-final. Obviously, it's great we got to the semi-final. But I just mean in the team spirit. Like, I was watching Lingard talking the other day, and he was just saying, like, we were so close as a group. We had this brilliant spirit. And I think that's what Southgate deserves a lot of credit for. In that sense, he's done really well to kind of unify players who are rivals at club level. Because you've heard Gerrard and Lampard talk about it and just go, when we went away with England, we didn't want to talk to each other because we're competing with them for leagues and Champions Leagues. Whereas now you see that they're a lot closer in the squad. There's players from different teams. Like Rashford and Sancho are really good mates. And I think you can't underestimate the importance of that. Like, his man management is pretty good overall. Obviously, the Greenwood incident was bad, but yeah, I just think Southgate's only kind of redeeming feature is the way he's got this squad going. I mean, linking it back to Scotland, I think from what I've seen, you guys have a similar kind of squad unity with Steve Clarke, don't you? I mean, I saw how resilient you were against Serbia in that huge game. I mean, is this like, we'll start with you, Bobz. Is this the best Scotland team you've seen?
They've got to be, because they got to a tournament.
Yeah.
Look, look, Scotland have never had a massive pool of players. Look, the domestic league doesn't really boast. Even now, Robbie, you'll probably be back me up. The domestic league doesn't really boast anyone that stands out, really. I think it is on the case of how many players we have playing in England. Uh, you know, but then, I always say it's all right having them in playing, but do they really, really play in England? Do they start every week and week? So, you need to break that down. However, look, we've got Robertson, Tierney, McTominay, Che Adams. Got great technical players, Ryan Fraser, the boy, Ryan Christie. I don't know, did he get picked? I can't remember.
Ryan Christie, yeah.
Yeah. So,
And also, mate, McTominay will play at centre mid. Steve Clark basically confirmed it because, well, I don't know if you've seen it, but see Jack Hendry at the moment, he has been class. He's out on loan to Ostend in Belgium. Premier League teams like Newcastle are up for him. They're trying to bring him in. Great ball playing centre back. And, Grant Hanley as well. See, Grant Hanley, he gets, slept upon. He's been such a solid defender in the Championship this year.
Consistent. Championship's the hardest league, mate. Hardest league ever. I'll tell that to anyone. Championship's the hardest league. So to be able to play in that, and play it very well and defend very well is tough. But like to answer your question, it has to be the best team because, Robbie, you're what, 20? It's been like 20 plus years since Scotland were in the last tournament.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah, so yeah, I'd say yes. What they do, the funny thing about Scotland is that we don't have the arrogance of the English fans. We're literally happy to know that we've got 3 fixtures in the tournament. So we were there. We're at the Euros. Whatever happens, happens. If we don't make it out of the group, it is what it is. If we do, well done to them. That's it. And I just think if Scotland could come out with 5 points.
5?
I'm being look, man. You need to remember,
unbeaten.
Listen, I might look. People might say you're sounding crazy, got to be optimistic, but it's 3 games, and I think win 1, draw 2, you might have a chance coming second.
Oh no, we will. See if you get that, mate. Remember back to the last Euros, the 3rd place team goes through.
Yeah.
Portugal went through with 3 points. And they went on to win it. I'm not saying we're going to win it, obviously, but we show, it can clearly work. And
but it can happen. Look. Wales, there's always a team every international tournament that overachieves. Okay, we saw Wales, we saw Greece, they went and won it. Look, I'm not saying to you that Scotland are gonna trouser the whole tournament. I'm just saying, when I look at the squads of the teams in this group, there's a chance Scotland could get through. Because obviously England, they have their strikers and stuff, but the strikers aren't going to dominate the possession of the ball. So yeah, I'm just optimistic. I just think Scotland can play football. That's it. This team can actually play football.
We bet Czech Republic at the end of last year. Ryan Fraser got a goal, 1-0 win. We were very in control of the full game. I fancy us against Czech Republic to win in the first day.
Yeah, that's 3 points.
And it's one of those things, that's 3 points straight away.
Momentum. Do you know what I mean? And then imagine this though. Would you be surprised if England drew against Croatia?
No.
So there you go. We go top with 3 points. So England then has to win their next game. Look, mate, I'm telling you right now, people are laughing at me. I'm telling you, if England draw against Croatia...
Bobby, I love it. Okay? I absolutely love it.
No, but if England draw against Croatia and we win, what are you going to tell me? Scotland will be like, well, at least we don't lose against them, draw. England might not make out of the group. Sorry, my son's shouting at me. I'm telling you.
It is a very good point you make, actually, because the nature of group stage football in international tournaments, it's so because it's so few games. You win 1 game and you're looking good, and it's the same if you lose 1 game, you're in big trouble, isn't it, Robbie? I mean, it's kind of I mean, are you as optimistic as Bitz and Bobz is?
I'm optimistic. Not as optimistic as Bobby. I mean, I wish I had that, but I'm just so excited to actually, soak up the atmosphere. Obviously, we've got 2 games at Hampden. We'll have fans in. We need to really use that to our advantage. Obviously, we've got the game in Wembley as well. That's just like a derby. It'll feel like a one-off game. So, don't write us off, and don't write England off either to go the full way. Because everything's up for grabs. And Alexei, now that Bobby's away at the moment, we could possibly do the fantasy picks, guys. Obviously, if you haven't already, you should definitely get involved in our fantasy league. We're giving away a Man United retro shirt for the winner of the group. Don't look at my team, guys. This is just a wee draft at the moment. Nothing fancy. We'll start off with Scotland, Alexei, and we'll have a look at them about who you possibly have in your team. Probably not in the same level as England, but you never know. Sorry, I'm having a bit of an issue here.
I quite like Ryan Fraser as a footballer.
Well, there's an issue, mate, about him possibly not starting because, it depends what formation we start off with. We could start with a 5. We could start with wingers. We could start with 2 up front. He could possibly start up front, so you never know. It's just similar to England, mate. We don't really go with like the one team. Obviously, we've had a lot of issues with COVID recently at the moment. Probably your kind of bang on starters are Andy Robertson, Kieran Tierney, Scott McTominay, John McGinn. David Marshall will start in goals too. But I'm struggling to look any further than Kieran Tierney at 5 million. He's picked by 7% of the people. You could even trade him out for the England game if you don't fancy him against them. But, Kieran Tierney will get forward for that left centre half. It's either him or Robertson. That's kind of how they play. So,
you never ridiculous that you have 2 really, really, really good left backs, isn't it? Like, it's mad. Like,
Alexei, the thing is, though, everyone always says, like, oh, but you've got 2 of them. Steve Clarke utilises it so well. We've had managers previously who played Tierney at right back, didn't work. Bang on centre half, didn't work. But now he's in this role, 5 at the back formation, and he's on the left, and we've got that sense of like we don't know who's going to go up the path. So either Robertson or Tierney sit. It's quite exciting, and I do really like watching them play because they do completely ball up the wing, they get their head down, quick look up and ball into the box into one of the big guys like Lyndon Dykes. It's a good system and it works. You look at John McGinn though as well. He's on 7.5 million. They class him quite highly. Bobby, you could maybe jump in here. I don't know whether John McGinn will play in behind the striker. He seems to do that the best for Scotland, or if he'll sit back a bit deeper alongside McTominay.
I think Steve Clarke will probably need his energy because he doesn't stop running. To be fair to him, he's a tenacity, and it probably would be a smart move to put him a bit deeper because he can bomb forward. We've seen it, at Aston Villa, and I think Armstrong's probably the more imaginative one out of the 3, out of McTominay and McGinn. Armstrong can actually play a bit, so I think he'll probably be a bit deeper. And Armstrong, McTominay, McGinn against Rice and whoever, man, you just don't know, man. Alexei, trust me, look, if you guys go and beat us 3-0, I'll shake your hand about it. Well, it is what it is. But when you're looking at it there, I just think Scotland are going to play with no pressure,
And you have
England
players
that's coming home.
You have players really suited to this kind of because obviously England Scotland's going to be like a derby game, and who would you want more in a derby than players like McTominay, McGinn, Robertson, Tierney? They just run for days. I was just thinking then while you guys were talking, actually, first time in my lifetime probably where Robertson gets in the England squad, Tierney gets in the England squad, McTominay gets in the England squad, McGinn gets in the England squad. That's 4 players. I don't mean to say it in a patronising way, but that was never the case before. There was none at all a few years ago. And now you're looking at it and going, a few of them were getting the starting 11. So, the closer it's getting to our game, guys, the less confidence I'm feeling. I am actually quite worried now because I probably have underestimated you guys a bit, to be honest. Like, you know.
Yeah, well, I'd say this is literally one of our best teams that I've seen. We've got strength. We've got strength throughout, and I think Steve Clark has picked his team pretty much spot on. The only player that he left out that annoyed me was Ryan Gauld. Bobby,
I know, mate. I know. That one a bit. That kind of. I don't know, because he could have been a wild card for us.
Yeah.
You know, he's very tricky. We all know the reputation. Got an eye for a goal. Just he's off the cuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So I mean, Bobby, I think that Nathan Patterson, Billy Gilmore, and David Turnbull are the three guys who, made up the extra numbers in the squad. I think it's great to bring them on board, get them a wee bit of experience. But I do think David Turnbull will actually start. I think he'll come on in most of the games. He looked amazing against the Netherlands. Really played with his, just Everton passion merchant. Absolutely love it. That's what we need, because we don't have, probably the ability over England.
Yeah.
Everywhere on the park, so we do need that to go along with. And then we'll finally just look at England's team as well, but who you possibly have in your team. Whenever we look at this team, guys, what do we think in this team? Who stands out to you?
I'm not picking any defenders, I can tell you that. I mean,
I think, do you know what? When you look at their attack, right? Obviously Harry Kane. Look, Harry Kane's there. We know what he can do, so we don't have to spend too much. I think we need to be worried about Mason Mount, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Because he's shown this season he can play in any position, but if you play him advanced or off the left, he's a problem. He can play, he can pass as well. And he's annoying because he actually tracks back. Yeah, which is
he's a manager's dream, isn't he?
Yeah, literally.
No, definitely, yeah.
I think Rashford is horrible. I'm not even worried about Rashford. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Rashford couldn't even get past a Tottenham reject that's a centre back, played at right back. Rashford couldn't jump past them once. To be honest, I have no qualms about him at all. There's no one that stands out that says to you, okay, you could say Foden, but is Foden going to start? He's not going to start Foden.
What do you think about Grealish, though? I mean, Grealish isn't even on this list. He's down here. Only 2% of people have picked.
I think Grealish. See this guy, yeah? I know we're not talking about Man United, but right now I actually hate Man United. I'm done with them. If Man United buy this player, I will consider loving them again. This guy is... People say Gascoigne, blah, blah, blah. I think, he's probably the first one since Rooney for England. That's I'm just wow. What he done with Aston Villa, okay, you could say him again in that. But listen, Aston Villa shouldn't be in the Premier League right now. And it's because of this guy. What he does with the ball, and he plays off the left.
Harry Kane?
Huh?
So do you not feel that way about Harry Kane?
No, because Harry Kane's good at scoring goals. Okay, cool. He can score goals, that's cool, but people have to still create for them. They say he creates his own goals, but I mean, to a certainty, it's all right to drop deep, take a shot from 25 yards. Is that making your own goal? Okay, fair enough. But with Jack Grealish, this guy's a bad boy. Coming off the left, can drift in, control the game. I really like this guy. And listen, we've saw Harry Kane. You can man mark Harry Kane. We've done that in the last game. We need to remember, was it 2-2? It finished 2-2.
Yeah,
right?
2-0, yeah.
Yeah, he was never in the game. Remember that game? He played rubbish and he ended up scoring. Do you know what? Because he was in the right place at the right time.
And I mean, you've also got Alexei. I mean, talk to me in this team. Who stands out to you?
I'd echo the sentiments about Grealish and obviously Kane. I think Mount is the one player. I'd say probably Mount and Kane are the players that I know are going to play every single game in this tournament, without a doubt. Mount is... I can't speak highly enough of Mason Mount. I wish he was at Manchester United. And what we've got to understand with him...
You can see that for the percentage of people who have actually selected him in his team.
32%, yeah. You've got to remember Mason Mount. He's literally put in performances of a really high standard in Champions League semi-finals and Champions League finals. This guy is, I mean, what he's at the highest level, I think. I mean, you can't underestimate him at all. And yeah, I mean, I think Luke Shaw is one to look out for. I mean, if he replicates his form that he's had for United, I'm really excited about him. I think him and Walker as the fullbacks could be really, really exciting. Yeah, it's obvious, but I'm really confident. I think if I was playing fantasy football with England, I'd just buy the attacking players because, overall, I mean,
you probably wouldn't pick wingers, Alexei, would you? Because you don't really know who's going to obviously start.
I've no idea. I mean, I personally would go probably for Sancho, Kane, and Grealish if I was Southgate.
Then at 8 million, mate, and he's selected by 14%. He can start.
He's not going to play.
I mean, 12%.
I don't think he'll start.
Alexander Arnold, and he's out injured, and then 9% for Harry Maguire. I think these guys are going to have a real shock whenever it gets to match day. And, Alexander Arnold's at home and Maguire's sitting watching in the stands.
Exactly.
The thing is, though, do you know what's scary for a Scotland manager, a Croatian manager, or a Czech Republic manager? Is you have all these forwards England have, and all of them do slightly different things, and you have no idea who you need to prepare for at all. I mean,
I hear what you're saying, Alexei, but I do think he will start Kane. Something just tells me he's going to start Rashford, and I think he'll start Sancho. You know what?
I think Sancho has to start. He's better than Sterling for me. He's better than Rashford. He's just got everything. He's just complete. The guy's so direct. He'll take guys on, pass them, and then he'll score or make a amazing chance.
And he comes inside off the right. And he's
what I've seen him, there's just no one better. There's no one better. And I'm going to move on as well onto the keepers, because myself and Alexei had this conversation yesterday when we were doing the preview for Group B and C, and we were talking about the issue that some teams have got, like the Netherlands, like Austria, where they're playing like different keepers in the friendlies. So it's a case of who's actually going to start in goal. For me, I just think it's you don't need that uncertainty going into a tournament this early on. The manager should literally come out and say, look, this guy's playing goals. They end all sort of speculation. You take the pressure off the guy. And for England, I think this is another example where, I mean, anyone can start in goals, but for me, I do believe that Jordan Pickford will start in goals.
Yeah, I think he will.
Yeah, he shouldn't, in my opinion.
No, he's been absolutely terrible. It should be,
Henderson.
Or I mean, to be honest, Sam Johnson has been good this season as well. I don't think he's in it. Like, I think he's like the third choice. But
the thing is, this is what I was saying earlier about Southgate. Though the obvious choice is never the first one. Obvious choice is never the first one, and then the obvious choice always is the last solution. Look, Pickford, unfortunately, has a record and traits of doing silly things, and he concedes stupid goals, and he there's nothing about him that says yup. When you sign a goalkeeper, you're like, no conversation, he's in. And Robbie, like you were saying, that someone needs to come out and say it. I think he's not done that because he doesn't know. Dean Henderson, look, I mean, he's what a year for him. His first season at Man United, and he's in the Euros. Good for him. For him, mentally, Southgate should build on that. He's confident. He's arrogant in a good way. Playing, he comes out. He can play football with his feet. He can do the super nonsense, whatever they talk about. Just play. Do you know? Like, just play your best players in their best position. Do you know what I mean? You're the better goalkeeper. That's why you're playing. Like, literally, like, and then you work your way down through the team sheet. But yeah, the whole thing about when you play other keepers and you don't know who's number one. I'm with you, Robert. It's stupid because you're giving false hope to certain players. Okay, you're just handing out caps charity-wise, and for the people that are defending, we all know what relationships are like between centre backs and goalkeepers. You don't know what's going on. Is this a one-off? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you like?
Alexei, do you know? Sorry, Bobby, to cut in there. It just came to my mind, and I'm like, see, against Austria, they were playing like Ben Godfrey. I'm sure Ben White, obviously Jesse Lingard played as well. What's the point?
Who's released? He's told they're not coming.
Yeah,
manager, Alexei.
I know. I think it's bizarre. I mean, one thing I'll say as well on the goalkeeper situation, like you guys were both saying, I completely agree that it never works switching out goalkeepers. And surely Southgate must have learned from, do you remember 2010 World Cup when we didn't know what the goalkeeper was and Robert Green had a howler?
Yeah.
And it's happened so many times, like with Scott Carson as well and Joe Hart. Like,
David James.
And we're now going into another tournament going, who's the goalkeeper going to be? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, I think we've seen it. Obviously, this isn't about United, but we saw with United that it doesn't work constantly changing goalkeepers, in my opinion. You just need to... Basically, I think you should just pick Henderson and be done with it, to be honest. But, I mean, in terms of the overall group, I'll come to you first, Bobby. What would your predictions be for how this group's going to end up in terms of the standings?
Boy, who's the other team? It's Croatia, Scotland, England. Who's the fourth one again?
Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. I think Czech Republic will come last. My head says England, Croatia, Scotland, then Czech. But my heart is saying Croatia, Scotland, England, Czech.
Oh,
Oh God!
Because do you know like
Bobby, I love it.
just from a different point of view, right? I think about all the English players, how many games they've played this season. Okay. Champions League. The Champions League's bigger than the Euro, so I don't care what anyone says because that's my opinion anyway. I just think some of the England players that aren't going, some of the players that are not going to play are still there. Is that the right mentality, atmosphere to be having people that you're like thinking, oh, I'm only here because he can't play? Then I just think it's just England,
Yeah,
something so straight and so ABC is flipping B, Z, W, blah blah, and I seriously do think England might get embarrassed this tournament, and if they go through, it's no shots. It's like you're supposed to go through. Do you know what I mean? But I know this is all recorded and stuff, and I will come back to this when they don't make it out. I'll tell people I told you so because I'm shameless like that. But because do you know what? When England played Croatia, sorry guys, I'm rambling on, but when England played Croatia, right, it was a foregone conclusion. England were going to beat them, but Croatia have European technical players here. Like I need to remember. People won't tell you, but every country hates England because of their arrogance. So when it's like when we used to dominate the league, everyone used to hate Man United. That's what it's like. You raise your game, and Modric. Listen, Jordan Henderson, for all good he was, looked absolutely lost against Modric. Jordan Henderson was running about like a headless chicken. Modric stayed in the same place. There's levels to this, and I just think, guys, I just think if Scotland beat Czech Republic and England draw with Croatia, my goodness. All I'm gonna say. Can you imagine the pressure, media? You know what they're like. I'm telling you now. You're coming third. I'm saying it now. It's going to be Croatia, Scotland, England, Czech Republic.
I think you make some very valid points. I think the point is very valid that if we mess up our first game, the media is just going to absolutely go for them, and the pressure's going to get there. And because in this country, the media just like to bring us down in general. They don't like anyone doing it's just it's such a toxic environment. And yeah, you're complete. I think I don't necessarily agree with your standings, but I think the points you make but I think the points you make are valid, because like you said, it should be ABC with England, but it goes all over the place. I mean, I still can't believe we lost to Iceland in 2016. Like Iceland, it's shocking when you think about it. So
Scotland had a party that day, mate. I'm not going to lie to you.
I mean, that was quite funny that day. You know, it was like
Iceland with 10-1. A lot of people put a tenner on that, including me.
It was absolute madness that day, and I just hope we're the one that does it to them this time.
But then, Alexei, if you look at the squad that lost to Iceland, okay, and then look at the squad you have now. You have a worse squad, potentially. You know? You want to say hello to the boys? Say hello to the boys. Oh, say hi, Robbie.
Hi.
Say hi, guys.
Hi.
hello.
Say hi, Alexei.
Alexei.
Hi, Robbie.
Hello.
Oh.
Right, can we talk about football? Okay, thank you.
What team do you support?
Okay. Man United, mate. For his son.
Good man.
But to put this up in the garden, guys.
Daddy.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's nice.
You can have that one. Sorry, guys. Alexei,
That's
sorry.
all right.
I mean, I suppose Alexei, that is us kind of hitting the hour mark. We obviously went a bit longer than expected, but you know, I think we've actually stayed pretty level-headed. For me, I would go with, just to round it up, I would probably go with, I think England will top the group, to be honest, still. I do believe they will. Then I think it will be Croatia, then us. But I think we'll go through as best third, one of the best third teams. You know, you never know. We could possibly pick up a point against Croatia or England. It's just, you can't tell what's wrong. You cannot tell.
Would you be shocked though, Alexei? Like, hand on your heart, okay? If we gave you a good game and we drew, even if it was 0-0 or a 1-1 or something, and then they drew against Croatia as well, you've got to think, well, it's possible. It is possible.
Yeah,
you know, and I think that's why a lot of people. Well, I say a lot of people when I see it. I think that's why a lot of people aren't as confident saying, "Oh, it's coming home," blah blah, because you look at all these groups, you look at England's one, you know, people are saying, well, it's not a foregone conclusion against Scotland. And Croatia, you know, some of them are at this will be the last tournament, so they'll be wanting to have a nice hurrah. And let's be honest, mate, any nation that plays against England at a tournament, they've got to raise their game. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone's watching. It's a shop window.
I just love the underdogs, because see, with Man United, obviously, like, we're never underdogs, so with Scotland, it's so different in that sense where there's just no pressure whatsoever. It's such a Scottish thing, right? If we go and lose to Czech Republic and then beat Croatia and England, it's such a Scotland thing to do. So just don't write us off. That's all I need to say. Don't write us off. We'll be there to the last day.
I mean, I completely take all your points into account, and to be fair, the reason I'm about to say what I'm about to say is just because I think Croatia's midfield is so much better than ours. I think our attack is probably better than theirs, but their midfield is so much better than ours. I think it's very, very possible that Croatia will top the group, but we will go through second, and I think Scotland will get third. Just because while our attack beats... If football was just based on who has the best attack, we'd be up there, right?
You get the trophy.
Yeah.
You're in France.
100%. But like we were saying, it's kind of crazy that Jordan Henderson got outclassed in midfield by Croatia a couple of years ago in the semi-final, and then it's possible we might see him in there again, or it might be a rise. But I can see the same thing happening again, as getting absolutely outclassed in midfield, and it could really cost us.
What happened at Liverpool, didn't it? I mean...
Yeah.
Real Madrid played Liverpool a few months ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
Was it the knockout stages? And we saw Modric and Cruz.
The thing is, though, mate, who's actually going to start in midfield? That's one of the main issues, you know, because there's Henderson, he's fighting fitness, so is Calvin Phillips. That's two players away already.
You're not gonna. I don't care who you are. If you're Calvin Phillips is not gonna boss you a game. on an international stage. Let's do you know what I mean? If Henderson's not going to be fit, I'm telling you this right now, and they'll be stupid to play him in the first game. For fitness wise, that doesn't make any sense at all. Because it's not like do you know like what Henderson does on a football pitch? It's not, he needs to be fully fit. Wait, Bobby's daddy's talking. He needs to be fully fit, fully strong. You can't just go in and it's not like he just jogs about, mate. Do you know what I mean? So, Bobby, okay, that's no problem. But yeah, it doesn't matter who they pick anyway, Bobby. We're going to beat them anyway.
It's one of those things, mate, where it's like the midfield is just like lackluster. I look at it and I'm like, Declan Rice, fantastic player. But he can't do it all himself.
But also, has Declan Rice really been proven on any kind of big level at all? He hasn't. People are going about being worth
players either, but I don't think it comes down to that. I think it more comes down to team spirit on the day, who shows up, who's there early, who's wanting it more. And, England and Scotland should do well because we've got the home advantage. Scotland have got it in 2 games, England have got it in 3. It's one of those things where we need to.
It's all right playing for West Ham guys and stuff in the Premier League, but when a whole England media nation and everything are watching, it's a different kind of ball game because it's all right being not liked by rival fans, but your own fans are going to be on your case. Sorry guys, this is my second stream in a long time since Man United lost the cup final, so it's been a while since I was able to talk football. So it's been really nice.
Good to have you on.
Really nice.
It's good to have you on. It's been a while, mate. It's been a while because
really nice.
Been doing your own
nice, man. I've stopped, mate. I'm on a sabbatical till Ollie gets sacked. So seriously.
Alexei's going to jump through your computer on. But anyway, to wrap it up, guys, what I think we should do, it's just a score prediction. I know we don't usually do it, Alexei, for the internationals, but Scotland versus England, I think we should do a score prediction just for a laugh to see who actually could possibly get it right. Alexei, go.
1-0 England.
No. I'm going to go 2-2 because I think it will be literally end to end. And, England's defence is not good. So I think we will score. So I'm going to go 2-2.
2-1 Scotland. And to add context to that, England will dominate the whole game. Okay? England will dominate the whole game. Just can't kill it off out of nowhere. We get a winner and defend for our lives. 2-1. And I kid you not, see if we beat them 2-1. Robbie lad, we are having a party. Never mind the rest of the games, we will have a party. I'm telling you. If Scotland beat England, Jesus, listen.
See, the thing is, though, it's not even like a massive deal for England to beat us, but see if we beat them, the pressure's on. The pressure's on, and that is what I'm running off of.
100%.
So I'm happy with
that. I will love it. Oh, this has been so fun, guys. Thank you so much, man. Made my day. Literally.
Yeah.
Made my day.
Been good.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. It's been nice speaking to you, mate. We'll definitely all do something again soon. I mean, obviously, it's a long tournament and everything, so it's a lot of games, and hopefully Scotland and England do both get through and, get far. I mean, it's possible. It's very possible.
I think, do you know what, just on me anyway, my last 2 cents on it. With the squad England have, they should get to the quarterfinals, but, it's not as easy as that. I look at France. France have got like 4 players for each position. They brought Benzema back, because he's terrifying. He's absolutely. Do you know what I mean? And he's been so consistent under the radar. Obviously Portugal. You could say Germany and all that stuff, but Netherlands they always have a say in this. And I don't know if it's because we all watch the Premier League and we listen to the English arrogance and the confidence, but there's more teams in this tournament that can win it, than before. England just seems to think that they can win it. But anyway, my last thing I'll say, England will not top the group.
We'll hold you to it. Bobby.
Yeah. We'll definitely revisit this. I mean, but yeah, cheers again for coming on, mate. Really enjoyed it. I'd say
anytime.
Good luck to Scotland, but not against us, obviously. I wouldn't mind if you guys got through, but go through with 6 points, just not the 9. Robbie, thanks as usual. Everyone watching, feel free to join the Fantasy League and everything like that. Follow Bitz and Bobz on Twitter, follow Robbie on Twitter, follow myself on Twitter if you want. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Everyone enjoy your weekend. Stay safe, and it's now just 6 days to go until the Euros.